Okay, what's up guys? I just wanted to shoot a quick video to show different progressions to pull-ups and how you can progress your pull-ups and get better at pull-ups depending on the workout and depending on what your ultimate goal is. So this is Karen, this is my fiance, and she's super fit and she's gonna be our demo girl, our Vanna White. And so today, we're gonna start with a setup. Now, the setup you see here, we've got a barbell set a little bit lower. This is roughly about the same height that you would use for a like a bench press height, roughly. What I'm looking for in this is that Karen keeps her spine long the whole time. So you wanna keep your spine vertical. You don't wanna be leaning back like this, okay? And so this substitute can be a barbell placed on a rack, such as you see here. You can also use a sturdy countertop or kitchen table, can also be done as well. So I'm gonna show you a couple variations to work with this. Now, first thing, we wanna make sure it's controlled, especially on the downward part of the movement, okay? So Karen's gonna first activate through her shoulders. Think about pulling the scapula down. We'll get into that in a little bit. And then from here, her feet are flat. Okay, so she's gonna keep her spine long and she's gonna pull vertically, so she's gonna pull up and use her legs for as much assistance or as little assistance as she can, gradually working or resisting just crashing down. A, she doesn't want to hurt her tailbone, and B, she wants to make sure that she's getting strength development in that. So option one is to keep your feet flat, okay? Pulling yourself up, making sure that you're vertical. Karen's gonna show you one where her hips come too high. So you don't want to be doing this where the hips come forward. You want to keep the hips underneath the bar, your butt underneath the bar as much as possible. She'll show you one more good one with her feet nice and flat, okay? Now, the next version is a little bit more difficult. She's going to extend her legs out. This is going to add a little bit more difficulty. Now, she can press down into the floor with her heels as much as she needs to, but I'm still looking for that vertical spine. I'm still looking for her to be upright with her torso. So from there, go ahead, Karen. She's going to pull again, making sure the hips are underneath the bar and that she's not letting the hips come forward or up. She's pulling vertical, again, using her legs for as much assistance and support as she needs to. This is gonna be a little bit more difficult, okay? So the next progression or the next step that we can do, Karen's gonna pull the bar out of the way and I'm gonna tilt this bad boy up. Okay. So this is the next progression. She's gonna get a box underneath a pull-up bar. Now, with the box, the other option too is if you have one of those doorway pull-up bars that you would see that you can buy at like any hardware store, most Walmart I think has them. The pull-up bars that hang in your doorway, you can have a chair under here as well. Now this is gonna be a little bit short for Karen. I'll maybe grab one more plate. Okay, Karen's she's itty bitty. So there's one, and I'll grab one more. You wanna make sure that as she is setting up, that when she's standing on the object, her chin is over top of the bar, okay, when she's standing upright. So probably could go a little bit higher. I'd like to see a little bit higher there. And what she's gonna do here is, again, keeping her spine nice and long. There we go, got her a booster seat. So keeping spine nice and long, she's gonna just bend her knees, and again, keeping her hips underneath the bar as much as possible. So she's gonna focus, again, on that scapular retraction. Maybe just turn around to the other side. So what I mean by scapular retraction, she's not sunken into her shoulders. She's gonna think proud chest, shoulder blades pinched down here, not sunken in. So she's pinching down here first, then keeping the hips underneath the bar. She's gonna pull herself up and over, again, using her legs or tippy toes as little as possible, but as much as she needs to ensure that she maintains good positioning and good form throughout the movement. So that's kind of the next step up once you've done what's called that L-sit pull-up. The third step up, okay, or the third option you would have here, do you wanna grab pegs? Yeah. Is, you can use a band. Now there's two ways to do this. You can use a band if you have just a regular setup, or if you have access to one of those assisted pull-up machines, those work well as well. But for this purpose, same idea is I want the hooks to be about the same distance from the hook to the bar as from Karen's collarbone to her feet, okay? And then I'm gonna use, again, as much bands as necessary, but again, you wanna make sure that the movement is difficult, it's challenging for what you're trying to do. So Karen's going to step up. Do you need a boost? Okay. And she's gonna set up, standing on the band. Now again, you want those thick monster bands that are gonna be helpful. Starting first with that scapular retraction, then she's gonna focus on pulling upright, maintaining a nice long spine, not reaching her chin, but pulling, using the lats and pulling herself up and over the bar. Okay, so that's the next kind of step or progression, is using a thick monster band or a thick resistance band there. Okay, the next step or the next option is what we call a jumping eccentric or an eccentric pull-up. So she's gonna have a similar setup, again, making sure that you have stable bases of support to work from, but Karen's gonna get her box or chair or whatever she's got, bench maybe, and what she's gonna do is she's gonna set up and she's gonna just bend her knees and she's gonna jump. Okay, when she holds, she's gonna hold as much as she can over top of the bar and slowly lower herself down. Now, if she needs to, or every point up until this, if you've done any of those progressions we just showed you, you wanna make sure that you're focusing on resisting the gravity of pulling you down. So she's gonna jump herself up and just resist gravity at coming down. See that start to shake? That's that isometric and eccentric muscle contraction that's causing her to shake. She hasn't trained that a lot recently. And so that's kind of the third step or the next progression to getting your pull-ups or building pull-ups. Lastly is just a regular pull-up. I'm gonna pull this out from under her. And just doing a regular pull-up, again, trying to avoid reaching the chin as much as possible and using the lats to pull all the way up and back down. Thanks, Karen. She's done a lot of pull-ups so far. So those are a couple of different options. Now, the reason why we teach strict version of a pull-up versus a kipping or butterfly for you CrossFit folk is mostly just that scapular. The risk versus reward with a kipping and a butterfly pull-up just isn't quite there. The only time that I like to use kipping or butterfly is when I'm working with CrossFit competitors close to competition. Even when we're in the training cycles for those people, we're still focusing on the strict version of the movement just because that's gonna build the strength and the stability and the control. And I might even vary those movements and give those options. Even if you know how to do pull-ups, I might get you to do eccentrics, as Karen will probably see in the next couple weeks, because I see she needs that isometric support. But we don't do the butterfly kipping traditionally just because the risk reward just isn't there for safety of the shoulders. But whatever version you pick, you want to make sure that that version or that option that we just showed you matches the number of reps you're supposed to do. So for example, if the goal with the workout is volume, i.e. lots of reps, I might choose something, for example, a band, and doing strict pull-ups with the band just to get the volume in, okay? If I'm looking at at building strength, I might do just the strict version of it, adding some weight. Or if somebody doesn't quite have a pull-up, we're doing one of those options that we just showed you to kind of help assist and help build that back strength and that vertical pull. So that's just a couple of options for you for your pull-ups. And for vertical pulling options, honestly, the movement selection we could go forever, but that gives you a couple options to help build your pull-ups. So hopefully that helps. We'll see you guys later. Bye.